Hey guys, it's Tanea, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you guys how my Invisalign journey has been going so far. So I'm halfway into my 15-week program, and yes, I did say that correctly. My entire Invisalign journey is 15 weeks long, and I am embarking on that 7-week mark. So actually here in a couple of days I will be going to the dentist for my halfway checkup, in which he's gonna be just kind of analyzing and seeing how my progress has been going so far and whether or not everything has been on track as planned. So in total my journey is about a little over 3 months. But let's just go ahead and jump into all of the details in terms of like the why, the investment, if there's any progress that I've seen so far, and some important do's and don'ts and other things that you should know if you are considering starting your Invisalign journey. So let's jump into the why. So long story short, I went to my regular dental appointment, and my dentist recommended that I get Invisalign. So they did like a quick 6-minute scan on this machine and showed me what my teeth look like now and what it could look like at the end of my treatment. And some issues that he pointed out was that my canines were a little bit protruding right here. I have quite an overbite, so your teeth are actually supposed to rest over your bottom teeth a little bit higher than mine's do. I have a little bit of overcrowdedness in my mouth, and so I have one or two teeth that are kind of like shifting on my bottom row. So afterwards I did ask him some questions. I asked him is this even effective? And he said yes, it is effective if you are compliant, which basically means you are wearing your aligners 20 to 22 hours a day. So if you're not doing that, then you're not going to get the results that you are looking for. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into the investment. So just keep these factors in mind when I share with you what my investment is. Keep in mind that in total, my treatment is about 3 months. I consider the imperfections that I have to be more on the minor side, and I do live in the Dallas market as well. So all of these factors are going to come to play, and what your treatment cost can cost for you. I was quoted $3,800, which is about mid-range in how much Invisalign costs on average. So it can cost anywhere, I believe, from like $3,200 to, I think on the high end, about $4,000 if I remember correctly. And so your dental office is going to likely offer you options in which you can pay for it, and your insurance may cover a portion of it as well. So my insurance covers about half of it, and the remainder I paid for out of pocket. Our teeth are always shifting, so as time goes on, I knew the issue would only be more problematic and it will only cost more in time. So I figured, I'm in a position now in which I can invest into this. I do feel like it's worth it, and so I did. So what's included in that investment is all of your aligners for the duration of your treatment plan, and also all visits related to your progress. Being that it's a machine, kind of like estimating what kind of correction you need, there may be a little room of error in which you may need an additional week or two than originally anticipated, in additional aligners as well. And just as long as you are compliant throughout your entire treatment plan, that is going to be included as well. Now, if you're not being compliant and it requires additional visits and aligners because you haven't been compliant, then you're going to have to pay out of pocket for that. So that's that piece. Let's move on to what to expect. I had to put down a $500 deposit before they were mailing off my scans for Invisalign to create my trays. So about 2 weeks afterwards, my trays were delivered to my dental office. I went to the dentist, and they made sure all of the trays fit, and they also applied these attachments onto my teeth, which is basically the attachments are basically like dental super glue, and they apply it on your teeth so that the Invisalign trays are able to like really be flush and tight on your teeth, so it's going to be more effective. And you also watch the videos of some do's or don'ts, like things that you should do and shouldn't do while you're on your treatment plan. Some of that is, of course, first and foremost, you do have to wear it 20 to 22 hours a day, so you're only really taking it out when you are eating, drinking some beverages, and brushing your teeth every morning and night. It's debatable whether or not you can eat with them. I wouldn't recommend it, so I'm just gonna act like that's not even a probability. You can keep them in when you drink water, but if you drink anything that's sugary or anything that is prone to staining your teeth, like wine or coffee, you do need to remove them because it can stain your tray. And also the sugar may like seep into your aligner and bake onto your teeth, creating additional issues and decay and cavities that you don't want to occur when you're wearing your aligners, or at all, pretty much. When you remove them, you want to make sure that you give your aligners a good rinse, maybe a possibility even in a brush if you feel like that's something that needs to be done. And you want to give your mouth a good whirl, like a good whirl of water, to make sure all the food particles are out of your mouth and any sugar is out of your mouth, and maybe a good floss and possibly a brush as well if you feel like that is needed. So you really want to be going over and above on your dental hygiene to just make sure that your teeth are in perfect conditions while you're wearing your aligner, and that your trays are in good condition as well. So on my treatment program, I change out my aligners each and every week. For others, that may be every 2 weeks. Again, you'll find all of that out when you have your own dental visit. I believe my program that I'm on specifically, when I did my kind of like research, is considered like a fast-paced track. Apparently, Invisalign evolved over the years, in which it used to be you have to change them out every 2 weeks. Now you can change them out every week. I don't know any more additional details aside from that, but each and every tray that I change out into targets other areas of my mouth, and they are tighter and tighter than the last one. So those are some things to keep in mind. My dentist, when I asked him like, is it painful, he said, I find it to be uncomfortable. I wouldn't say painful. Well, I do find that it was very, very painful, like on a scale of 1 to 10, almost like a 9. My teeth were so sore and my gums were so sore, like a piercing pain, like a piercing throbbing pain, like the first week or two. That pressure was very intense for me personally. It was so much so that I debated whether or not I wanted to eat sometimes, because I felt like, for one, chewing was very painful. Also, like getting the retainer, like my teeth were so sensitive that removing aligners and putting them back in my mouth was an extremely painful process as well. Now, after that second week, the pain considerably dropped to like maybe like a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10, and to the point where like I either became used to it, or the pain wasn't as bad, or at least nowhere near as it was like the first week or two. The first few days you're gonna have a lisp as your mouth gets used to talking with the aligners in your mouth. After those first couple of days, it will dissolve. Like, you're going to still have it lingering, but it's not going to be as intense and noticeable as when you initially wear your aligners. Now, let's talk about like the social aspects. So something that I found instantly to be a little bit awkward was that like you may want to reconsider like dining out as something you do when you have your aligners, because removing them, you're gonna have to remove them before you eat. And while you can go to a public bathroom to do so, if you're like me, where the thought of going to a public bathroom and removing your aligners is not even an option, then you may not want to eat out as much as you are, or at all, on this planet. For me, the thing is, I already have a thing about public bathrooms, is one thing, but Lord behold, I drop my aligners in a public bathroom. That's it. Like, I don't care how much sanitizing or brushing I do on the aligners, I'm not putting it back in my mouth, and that's going to disrupt my treatment program. So for me, it's like something that I'm either going to change out my aligners in my car, or just not going to go out to eat. So those are just a few like caveats to consider. Like, of course you're not going to want to change it out when you're eating in front of others, because that's not cute, that's rude. But I just want you to know that that's going to be a very, very, very awkward situation that you may likely face while wearing your aligners. Like, there was something else very important that I did want to share or note. If I think about it before this video, and I will insert it, or I'll just come back after. I do want to show you quickly like what you're gonna get in your like Invisalign kit. So you're gonna get this nice box that's going to have your aligner tray in there. Your aligner tray is something that you can take about with you, just so that like you can put your aligners in there in any instance that you need to remove your aligners, because this will help you pretty much like not lose your aligners, versus if you put them in like a napkin, you're most likely going to throw them away or misplace them, because the aligners are clear, they're very lightweight, it's so easy to throw away and dispose of, and you don't want to do that because the treatment plan is pretty expensive. With that being said, this helped me remember what I wanted to say. If you lose your aligners, it's not the end of the world. What I was instructed from my dentist was that you will just wear your next week aligner earlier and longer. So for me, I change my aligners every Wednesday. If I lose my aligners on the Sunday, so rather than changing out my aligners on the Wednesday as scheduled, I would wear it early on that Sunday. And as that Wednesday approaches, I will still have that aligner in my mouth until the following week's Wednesday. So I hope that makes sense. But anyways, you guys, I hope that was very helpful. If there's anything that I didn't answer, feel free to ask me in the comments below. I will come back with like at the end of my treatment program, how that went, if I had to do additional weeks, if everything is, my results are as planned. I do feel like my teeth are a little bit more aligned now that I'm about halfway in, but I feel like my bottom row can do a little bit more work. But other than that, you guys, I'm out.